So welcome everybody, good to see you here, very homely. Guys, thanks Caleb for the introduction. You know me as Wayne Hart. I'm a CPA accountant and business financial manager. My cheat sheet, I cater for clients who are mainly, we've got a turnover of $80,000 to $100,000 a year. And these are people who are probably not quite a company accountant. So it's an area I can drop into and give them, excuse me, holistic service. And the holistic service is all accounting, not just bookkeeping. It is debtors, creditors, sales, purchases, payroll, and the most important thing is reporting, daily reporting. We're in an era now where we've got cloud accounting, and it means that we can provide a dashboard on a daily basis and the client can actually see how they're progressing. One of the things I think clients tend to forget about, or people in business tend to forget about, is their cash. And it's not profit reported, it's how much cash you've got, because there is a very distinct breakdown on that. So in doing that, I also take care of the client's BAS, payroll tax, workers' comp, GST. GST is only a part of the BAS, and fringe benefit tax, and compliance for reporting KPIs. If the client has a payroll, I've handled payrolls of 50 people. So I know what I'm doing, I know what the Fair Work Act contains, and of course, currently at the moment we're in the era of single touch payroll. So that's Big Brother, the tax department, keeping an eye on the likes of JR. So the icing on the cake for me is the sensitivity to reporting and the visualization of reporting so people know exactly where they stand. Finally, I provide all clients with two very good tax accountants. So now, probably the reason behind this is that a lot of guys here, a lot of people are in fact tradies. A lot of the tradies go for doing their own books. And it's in that myth that they actually go for either Excel or a small package of software. Now, in the software itself, it does provide for preparing your own BAS or your GST report. And of course, you can get a situation where 80% of the information you're providing is correct, and the other 20% is incorrect. So along the track, the taxation department could catch up with you. Just be aware of that, and it's worth making sure that you know what you're doing. That's why you'd hire Dale to do your books, right? Okay, so now I think at this juncture, I'll point out, and I think I could go further, but I'll leave that out. I'll go to iCare and take iCare off the board. I hope everybody's got a copy of that. So we need, there it is. Now what I'm going to explain to you is the difference between bookkeeping and being an accountant, okay? So a lot of people in this room think bookkeeping is the B's and E's and that's the end of the journey. But you know somewhere out there's a person called an accountant. So if you're moving into the big league and you're looking at costing, you're looking at rather large operations, then you need to be aware that there's a person called a management accountant. He's known as a company accountant. is known as a financial accountant, not a tax accountant. Okay, so this is a balance sheet. It's debit, credit. Down here is the area that is handled by bookkeepers in the main. And this area is for all your year's expenses. Can be like that, or can run down here. It's called an operating statement or a profit and loss. And what happens in the course of the year, using Xero or Wave, you will record this data. Now, I've come across clients who have got their domestic expenses in there too. One lady, I remember, she had her nappies, she had everything that she purchased in there. You can do that if you want to, but it should, those things, personal things, should be up in here, in the balance sheet, under drawing. Anyway, so in the course of the year, we go through and collect this stuff here. At the end of the year, we go to the tax accountant, or in quarterly, we go to a BAS agent, which is Dale, and we do the BAS returns. Now, at the end of the year, your most important document is your balance sheet. And everything that happens in here is summed up to a profit or a loss. Now, if it's whatever it is, profit and loss, this thing is wrapped up and finalised, and everything goes up into here, into your results for the year. Okay? Into your partners, into your business equity. And that's closed off. This is your Bible. When you go to buy a car or a house, you need to pass that document to your financier. They want to know if you've got substance, and that substance is here in this Bible called the balance sheet. Okay? So, are there any questions on that at all? Nobody wants to venture that. So, now, what I'm going to explain to you now is about a year ago, my mortgage broker contacted me. I said, Wayne, I've got a sister. She's over in Queensland. She runs 2 businesses. They are imaging, CT scans, x-rays, radiological type of business. There's 2 businesses, each approximately with a turnover of $1.5 million. Each year, the issue was, as my friend told me, and I contacted her, and she said, I can't understand the difference between why my balance sheet and my books tell me I've got a profit, but in the bank we're in overdraft. Bingo. So I said, what are you running on? She said, well, we're running a payroll on MyOp, manual, version 17. So immediately that gave me what I needed to know. I said, okay, well, why don't we convert what you've got at the moment, version 17, into Account Right Live? And she said, what's that? And I said, well, it's in the cloud accounting. So we'll do your payroll, get your payroll up to date, make sure it's right, make all your employees are okay, and then I'll run through both businesses and convert everything to reality. And reality meant this. I started off getting the bank balances into, what is it, bank feet? Into mile.
Oh.
Okay, so think
I don't
mile.
use mine. Sorry.
I know you don't. But mine's a better product. So, enlightenment. So therefore, we got it up and running. The bank feed's going in. So every day, she was surprised she could actually look and see her trannies going into this product. She had some good idea of where she was. But the missing link was she didn't have the balances running forward. So my next exercise was to bring in July, August, September, October, import the data into the new account right live, and then she had a picture where every day the bank was reconciled, so she could look and see how much money was in the bank. Most important, absolutely important, vital. The payrolls were running right. I had the payrolls up and going, so every Tom, Dick and Harry knew exactly what was in there, how much they'd received, how much tax they'd have to pay, etc. And so we went through that whole exercise, and I did it over the phone using emails and over the phone. So we'd say 3 times a week I'd get on to her and we'd go through and sort out her problems, and we'd get it up and going from there. So over 3 months, I had to bring in the opening balances from the old product she had and put the journals through and bring it up to date. The biggest issue was getting her balance sheet. Now, this balance sheet here had been manipulated by the tax accountant. Now, a tax accountant generally has no idea what this is here. And so what I found out is I had to go through every item, assets and liabilities, and make sure that they were substantiated. That meant she had 5 vehicles. Did she have 5 vehicles? Were there 4? How much money did she owe her creditors? Okay, and we got that down to brass tacks. The debtors, were they real? We found that maybe 50% of those debtors they'd gone, they'd been paid in the past. And the data was never brought up to date. So got all that sorted out, and what was left over was transferred in net to profit, okay? But just squeezed out down to profit. And so having got that, the coup d'etat of all this thing was, she said, "Thank you, Wayne, for doing all this." I had to extract the last payment out of her. Didn't want to pay that, human nature. So eventually I just rang my colleague, the mortgage broker, her brother, said, "Can you do something for me?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll fix it, Wayne." After all this, taking 3 months of getting these 2 businesses, okay, up to date, everything running beautifully, clockwork, what does she do?
Sold, closed down.
No, what she did was she went to back to a tax accountant. What do? You lead a horse to water.
You can't make a sucker drink.
Got it. Thanks, folks.